Hello and welcome. This is It's Always About Love, and I'm life coach Lee Evans. I'm here with psychotherapist Lisa Logan. Lisa has been in private practice for many years, and today she brings all of that wisdom and experience to help you. We are here to answer your relationship questions. It's our desire to help you and make what you learn from this podcast usable in your life right now. Do you have a situation that you would like to share? Email it to its always about love, the number 1 at gmail.com. That's its always about love, the number 1 at gmail.com. Now let's get started. Are you there, Lisa?
I am. And you're going to think that I should start.
Yes.
Oh, hi. Where's what I'm supposed to read that I wrote?
Oh,
maybe I think you sent
I
it
did.
yesterday. Let me see if I can find it. Is that okay? That's okay. You want me to read it, right? Okay, let me see if I can find it on my inboxes. So, how are you?
And I want to know.
Are you why? Why are you good?
Because my life, things in it right now are going pretty good. Yes.
Well, good.
And I needed to know, when we came in the intro, could you hear the music? Oh,
Yes.
Good.
It wasn't very long, but it was.
I noticed that too. It was very short. But I love the music.
Geez. I know you do. You think it's the highlight of the program. That's funny. I'm trying to find. Oh, you read the intro about relationships. Will you do that?
Okay.
So they can hear it.
So this is, yes.
You have it right there? Because I can't get back to my mail screen.
And if you want to comment, do you want to stop me while I read? Just go, I want to make a comment or something, or do you want me to? Okay.
Okay. I did yesterday, I think. I could just hardly contain myself. Wait, stop.
There, do it like that. So I do. Okay, you ready? Okay. This is our It's Always About Love intro. Our firmest advice to all men or women who are thinking of leaving your marriage because of your feelings for another is to consider this. What you actually need to do is to work out your issues with your children's father or mother, to learn what love is, and then to learn to love him or her one more time. This is why, and it has to do with those you love more than anyone in the world, your children. If you will stop what you are doing and focus instead on what love is, how you once felt about that man or woman you are now considering leaving for another, you won't ever regret it, because there is something else at stake that matters more to you than anything else ever can. No future significant other will care as much about your beautiful, well-loved children as you and their father or mother do. And yes, you deserve to have a life. But myself and Lisa can assure you that several years from now...
Oh, that would be me and Lisa.
Lisa and me. Okay, and yes, you do.
You know, it doesn't sound right. It never sounds right. But at one point, it became a big deal in the English language, and it's supposed to be, well, okay. Lisa and
so
me.
So let's go back there. And yes, you deserve to have a life, but Lisa and me can assure you that several years from now, your children will be more important to you than this current man is or woman is. And a life with children who have withdrawn from you will be more painful than you can ever imagine, possibly because you traded their father or mother for someone who wasn't capable of loving them as their actual parent was. This is a guarantee we make to you, and we love you for considering our words. Would you like to add something?
Well, as you read that, I'm really glad you're reading it. You know, what I'm thinking about is what it was like for me with my mother and her new boyfriend. Oh, and listen, we used to go to the movies with my dad. He was no longer, in our home, but we got to see him on weekends. And Dad used to sit in the movies with us, and he didn't think we saw him, but he couldn't help himself, and tears came down his cheeks. He was so hurt. He missed us so much. And I hurt just saying that. I cared so much about him. Kids do. And that's part of what Lee and I are trying to get across to you, because you won't hear it on other programs. I'm amazed by the fact that therapists today, marriage and family therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, urge you to end your relationship. I hear it all the time. It breaks my heart. First of all, if you do choose someone new, and the possibility exists, and it's a firm possibility, that you're going to leave this person too, because it's about who you pick and how healthy your child actually is when they do the picking. And it is your child. Lee, the inner child, we haven't done a lot of that since we've been back. Your inner child is a part of your mind that has feelings. And a lot of the time, that's who does the picking of who you're going to fall in love with. And that's a 5-year-old child doing the picking. What you want to do is help your child, love your child. Geez, you guys, does this audience remember my teaching about the inner
They
child?
should.
You better, or it's not my fault. That's my child coming out. Look, you have 3 ego states. And this is according to Eric Berne, who founded transactional analysis. And I wish you could see me, because I would make the circles for you. But you have 3 ego states. The first on top is the parent ego state. And that's the part of you that nurtures, that cares, that makes judgments. Yep. And then the second ego state is your adult. Let me skip over that for a second and come back to it. Your third ego state is your child ego state, and it's about 5 years old. And it's a darling little child who has a lot of feelings and gets hurt easily. And if you're running your life, geez, I'm sorry, we have a president right now in our country. I know we have how many
1, 2,
countries
3,
now,
4,
Lee?
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11?
11? We had more than that the other day. It's okay. 11 people, 11 countries, not people. And but in our country right now, we have a president who can be very childlike. And here's an example. If you say something insulting to him, as has is it the president of North Korea, he will fire back at you with something worse. It's like a couple of kids going at it with each other. Or if you're not the president of North Korea and you're the Queen of England, Oh, our president has a very childlike way of being. It's not a good way to run the country. And today I was watching a program on TV. It wasn't a program, it was on the news, questioning whether we should allow him to make a decision about whether we're going to bomb another country or not. The Senate and the Congress are very aware that we're dealing with a man who is very childlike in many ways. That's how he's been successful all of his life. So, anyway, it may be bad, it may be good. I prefer to think that we need someone who's an adult, but it doesn't matter because he's who we have. So, okay. So that's the child ego state, and we definitely have a president of a country who is in their child ego state much of the time. And the third ego state is the circle in the middle. The circle on the bottom is the child ego state. Has lots of fun, plays, cries, has the feelings. And on the top, it's the parent, and the parent makes judgments and nurtures. Okay, things that parents do. And in the middle is the third ego state, that is the adult ego state, and that's the part of you that's your computer. Doesn't have feelings one way or another, simply decides what's the best thing for you to do. Now, when I was at Soledad Prison, and I did, 3 years working as a therapist there, and I got class credit for it. I was in college at the same time, so I got a lot of class credit for doing that. But what was important to me was the fact that the men in my groups there loved me, and I loved them. And I would be working with them, and these big, tough men, president of the Hells Angels, Black Panther president, who else was in there then? The Mexican mafia. They had given me the leaders of the prison men. Okay. But I'd be working with, I remember this was a black fellow, and all of a sudden he was crying in his child ego state and saying, I wish my dad had played ball with me. Why couldn't he just play ball with me? And tears were coming down his cheeks. Okay. I had another grown-up man. Now this was years ago, so I'm able to talk about this. But another man from the Hells Angels who was saying, here I am out there fighting the way I fight, and I'm scared. I'm scared to death. I could die. Okay, once again, in his child ego state. It's frightening. He had to be a tough guy. And, another fellow who was charged with his girlfriend's murder. I remember that. And he looked at me and he said, Lisa, and he had tears in his eyes. He said, I didn't kill her. We were in a shoot-off with the police and the police shot her. But because I was involved in that gunfight, then I was responsible for killing her. And I'm going to be in prison for the rest of my life for doing something that hurt me. I miss her terribly. So, how sad. How sad. And it was a tragedy, but that's what our laws say.
You were talking about Soledad.
Dear. So, what am I talking about right now?
Right. You're talking about the adult.
Yes, I know, but I'm talking
parent,
about the
adult, inner child, ego states.
Mm-hmm.
You went back to the inner child.
What am
you
I
went
trying
back to
to
the inner child
illustrate?
Because you were. Yes.
We're going to get to it, folks. Training about the inner child. Yeah. But I don't remember why. Oh, so I'm lost right now. And I think Lee is too. Usually I say, why am I doing this right now? And she'll tell me, but it ain't working right now. Oh, okay.
Well,
So
I
why
think it
did I
had something
start
to do with the fact
talking
that I
about
was reading
this?
about the intro for It's Always About Love. And we were talking about,
Yeah,
and
it's
you
your
deserve to
fault.
have
What?
the life. Lisa and me can assure
Yeah,
you that several years from now, your children will be more important to you than this current man is. And one thing that you said in reference to this is that a lot of times your inner child, which is about 5 years old, is the one that picks your mate. Most of the time. Okay. Most of the
yeah.
time.
Not a lot of
Right?
times. Most of the time.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. And I talked about my dad taking us to the movies and sitting and crying quietly.
Right.
He didn't want us to know that he was crying and that he was hurt because he cared about us. He didn't want to hurt us. So I was responding to what I was thinking about as you were reading. What we're telling you about your children is the truth. And what I will tell you in honesty is that I did not care one bit about my mother. And I'm not ashamed to tell you that. I blamed her for what she did to my dad, to my brother and my sister, and to me. She was not a good mother, and I took the place of her. I raised my brother and sister. That's true. So, but I never had the love. It left when I was going through all that grieving over my dad. And, maybe it would have happened anyway. But what Lee and I are trying to tell you in your choosing someone other than trying to work your present marriage out is you run the risk of ending up like like I ended up with my mother. I When she died, I was there for my family, but I wasn't there because I was grieving her death. I had given up caring about her years before that when she made some really serious choices that hurt my dad, that hurt my brother, and hurt my sister, and hurt me terribly. So I want to say that to you. There will be ramifications in what you're doing right now. And Leon, I just want you to be aware of it. If you choose to leave your marriage and to become involved or, yeah, be involved with someone else, we're not going to judge you and say, bad person. We're not interested in that. We are interested in helping you no matter what you choose, to help you choose, to help you do then with your
We
choice,
have
whatever it is that's best
approximately
for you.
5 minutes.
Lee, how much time do we have left?
I agree with you. And the
Okay.
reason that I agree, and
So
this
what do you
is
think about
totally
what I
off
just said
topic,
there, Lee?
but I was talking to an individual and we both love dogs. And they were telling me that they had a dog that they really treasured and they had to, make a choice to give it up. They said it was the hardest thing they had ever done, but they gave it to a man. It was a jumper and a runner. And where they lived, they feared for its life
Why? Why'd they
because
have
they
to give
couldn't
it up?
keep it contained. So they gave it to a man that had a
Oh,
large amount of property fenced with the right size, with a
yeah.
certain size fence that the dog, it was already like that. So they found someone and they said it was the hardest thing we had to do, but we're giving you our dog. And what happened is the man, his profession was training cadaver dogs. And so his son started training this dog that they gave him for a cadaver dog. And so they were called all over the, that's, That's a animal or a dog that's been specially trained to
Tell
find
everybody what a cadaver dog is, Lee.
dead
A lot
bodies.
of people won't know.
And so they're specially trained. So his son had been training this dog, and the
Dead
dog
body.
was getting close to being ready to go out.
Yeah.
And his son, the man's son, got really sick, and he lost his son. And they had done this profession for a lot of years. I don't know approximately how many, but for a long time. And his son was older. But when he lost his son, he would never again part with that dog, and he never again wanted to take that dog out to do that job. And so he decided from now on he was going to train his dogs to find missing people, missing live people, because he wanted to get them. If these dogs were good enough to find them when it's already gone, they're gone, you can't do nothing for them. He says, I'm going to use these dogs and train them so they can find them when there's still hope. And that's what this is about. This is what our intro is about. We want to bring hope to families that don't even know that they might go through something that's very devastating later on. The loss of their children later on is more devastating than anyone can ever imagine. And I'm not talking about loss like the gentleman I'm talking about. I'm talking about the children decide they do not want you in their life anymore, and they discard you. This is why we have this intro that we're reading, because we're trying to save families from having this happen, just like the man decided he was no longer going to take that dog out for those type of missions anymore. He wanted that dog to find people and give them hope.
Yes.
Rescue. He wanted to rescue people, and that's what this intro is. We are trying in our way to help. We're trying to rescue marriages that are on the rocks, having problems. We're trying to help. And Lisa is the one that wrote this, and I agree wholeheartedly with everything she wrote. That's what I wanted to add.
You know what? I love you. I love you, Lee. Thank you so much. I wondered, now we're talking about cadaver dogs.
It
And
is.
what are we going to come up with? And you finished it beautifully. Thank you so
Well,
much.
I'm glad that we've
and I know it's
brought
time
everything
for us to
from
go
where
now.
we started.
Gosh darn,
Hopefully
I
we
have
brought it
such a
full
nice
circle
time
so
here.
people will understand why we are reading this intro and why we have been.
Lee, tell them where they can
Go ahead.
to what, because now we're going to make our video on YouTube. Tell them, I could even do it, but you tell them. Well, just go to YouTube, YOUTUBE, that's all one word, .com. And then when you get there, you can look up Lisa Logan, and when you do that, you're going to find tapes that I made even several years ago. But the
Forsaken
recent
Parents Today.
videos that Lee and I are making now are Forsaken Parents 1, Forsaken Parents 2, right, Lee?
No, they're actually separated.
Oh, Forsaken Parents Today 1, Forsaken Parents Today
I did that.
2, all one word, right?
We are on YouTube, and we actually were successful.
Did you do that?
So yay!
Okay. I don't know how you're going to do it, but Lee,
it
you
is
do
Forsaken Parents Today, and they're numbered 1, 2, 3, and there are spaces in there. But I'm wondering if we did something like we go Forsaken Parents Today, like 1. If we put like a F,
are there spaces in there?
FPT, capital FPT together, it would give a key. Okay. But whatever it is will be in the description below the title
Lee,
of
how about
this
if we
podcast.
decide this ourselves after this program's over? Not right now. And you can also look up Lisa
Okay,
Logan,
Lisa
and
and Lee.
eventually
Yes.
you'll come to what Lee and I
Yes.
are doing. Or Lynn and Lisa, or no, excuse me, is it Lisa
We're on
and
YouTube. We
Lisa
love you.
and Lee, right?
We will be back tomorrow. And
Yeah.
remember, until
I
then,
don't know, you
it's
guys.
always
Okay, we
about
love you.
love. And we love you.
Yes, we will.
And I guess I should say good night.
Amen. Bye.